This happened about 6 months ago. I haven't told anyone except my boyfriend, and even then I left some details out. I guess I've been too scared to say it out loud, but I can't keep holding it in. Maybe writing it down will help me process it. I was working a late shift on a quiet Thursday. There were only 3 of us in the store, me at the register, Kevin in the stockroom, and our manager Rachel, who was doing office paperwork in the back. It was a dead night. Barely any customers, just that low hum of fluorescent lights and the occasional creak from the old air vents. Around 8:45 p.m., just before closing, I noticed a little boy wandering into the store by himself. He looked about 5 or 6, wearing a blue hoodie and those light-up sneakers that flash when you walk. I didn't think much of it at first. Kids come in all the time with their parents. But as he walked past the register, I realized there was no adult with him. I called out, "Hey buddy, where's your mom or dad?" He didn't answer. He just kept walking, slowly making his way down the candy aisle, dragging his fingers along the shelves like he was completely comfortable there. I figured maybe his parents were just parking, or maybe they just walked in behind him and I didn't see. So I waited. A few minutes passed. Nobody else came in. It started to feel weird. I left the counter and followed him carefully, not wanting to scare him. "Hey, sweetie, can you tell me where your mom is? Did she come inside with you?" He stopped and turned to look at me. His face was pale and his eyes were puffy like he'd been crying earlier. He shrugged. "Okay, no problem. Let's go up front and wait for her, all right?" He nodded but didn't move. I gently took his hand and led him toward the register. When we got to the front, I paged Rachel over the intercom. "Hey Rachel, can you come up front? There's a lost child here." A few seconds later, Rachel came out from the back, looking a little irritated at first, but softening when she saw the kid. She knelt down and asked him his name. He said it was Mikey. She asked where his mom was. His answer made my stomach twist. "She told me to wait here. She said she'd be right back." Rachel and I glanced at each other. "When did she tell you that?" she asked. He looked at the wall clock, then back at us. "A long time ago." We didn't have a lot of customers that day. In fact, we'd gone through a long, dead stretch where no one had entered the store for almost an hour. I couldn't remember seeing anyone who looked like they were with him. We gave him a juice box from the fridge and sat with him while Rachel called the police. The operator said they'd send someone right away. In the meantime, we asked Mikey more questions. "Do you know your mom's phone number?" He shook his head. "Do you know where you live?" He hesitated. "It's the red house." "That's good. Do you know what street it's on?" He just shrugged and kept sipping his juice. I tried not to panic. Maybe his mom had just stepped out to grab something from another store. Maybe she thought it was okay to leave him for a few minutes. But something about it didn't feel right. 15 minutes passed. No one came for him. No one entered or exited the parking lot. No one called the store asking about a missing child. When the police finally showed up, they took Mikey to the side and gently asked him some of the same questions we did. His answers didn't get any clearer. The officer came over to me after a while and asked if I had noticed anyone else come in with him. I said no. He asked if we had security cameras. I pointed him to the back room where Kevin helped him pull the footage. While they were reviewing it, Rachel and I tried to keep Mikey calm. He didn't seem particularly scared, just patient, like he was waiting for something. That's when he said it, almost too quietly to hear. "She told me to stay here. She said she'd come back when she was ready." "Who?" I asked. "My mom," he whispered, his eyes fixed on the door. "She always leaves me places. I don't know why, but when Mikey said she always leaves me places, it hit me hard. Not in a horror movie way, not yet. It was just sad, like it wasn't the first time his mom had walked away from him. Rachel tried to keep him distracted by showing him some stickers from the clearance rack. I could hear her soft, careful voice while I lingered in the back room with Kevin and the officer, waiting to see the security footage. Kevin fast-forwarded through the last hour on our dusty old monitor, and we all leaned in. At 8:45 p.m. sharp, we saw Mikey walk in, alone. He strolled right past the camera facing the front door, hands in his pockets, no hesitation. No one was behind him. The officer rubbed his chin. "Can you rewind a little? Let's see the outside lot." Kevin flipped to the exterior camera. It's not great quality. Our store's security system is ancient, but you can make out the lot, the sidewalk, and a little stretch of the road. We rewound to about 8:40 p.m. That's when I saw it. A dark SUV pulled up to the curb. It didn't park. It didn't even fully stop. It just kind of rolled up slow, and the passenger door popped open. A small figure. Mikey stepped out. He closed the door, and the SUV pulled away immediately, driving out of frame. There wasn't a hint of hesitation. No window rolled down. No adult leaned over to say goodbye. It was like someone dropping off a package. I felt sick. The officer watched it twice, then quietly asked Kevin to burn the footage onto a USB. "Looks like he was dropped here intentionally," the officer muttered. "No tags on the SUV, probably a dealer plate. Might have been covered on purpose." "You think his mom abandoned him?" I asked, my voice low. The officer didn't answer directly. He just said, "We've seen this before." That made my skin crawl. When I walked back up front, Mikey was sitting on the floor, peeling the stickers off the sheet and carefully lining them up on the tile. Rachel gave me a worried look. "What's going to happen to him?" she whispered. "They're going to take him in for the night. Try to find family." Rachel sighed and nodded. "He told me. He's been left at places before. Grocery stores, parks, malls. He said sometimes his mom comes back, but not always." "Jesus," I breathed. I went over to Mikey and knelt down. "Hey, buddy, the nice police officers are going to take you somewhere safe, okay? They'll help find your mom." He looked up at me with this calm, almost blank expression. "She won't come back this time." I didn't know what to say. When the officers escorted him outside, I watched from the door. As they buckled him into the back seat, Mikey turned and waved to me. I waved back, forcing a smile I didn't feel. The store was eerily quiet after they left. Rachel and I cleaned up, neither of us talking much. Kevin went back to stocking like nothing happened, probably to keep his mind off it. About an hour later, right as we were closing, the store phone rang. I picked up. "Thank you for calling Dollar Tree. How can I help you?" There was a long pause on the other end. Then a woman's voice. Soft. Calm. "Is Mikey still there?" I swear to God, I froze. "Who's calling?" Silence. "Is he still waiting?" she asked again. My throat went dry. I almost dropped the phone. "Ma'am, who is this?" There was no background noise. No wind, no traffic, nothing. Just her breathing. Finally, she said, "He's such a patient boy." Then the line went dead. I told Rachel about it immediately. She looked pale. We reported the call to the police, but when they checked the store's caller ID log, all it showed was unknown number. They told us to be careful, just in case. But the weirdest part, the number wasn't traceable, and I couldn't shake the way she said it. Like she wasn't panicked or worried. She wasn't calling to come get him. It sounded more like she wanted to know if he was still waiting. Still sitting there. Still doing what she told him to. The police never called us back. I don't know if they found his mother or if they put him into foster care. I don't know if they found the SUV or tracked the call. All I know is Mikey was gone, and the store went back to normal like it never happened. But I couldn't forget him. For the next few weeks, I kept replaying that phone call in my head. Is Mikey still there? The way she asked, it wasn't out of concern. It was routine, like she'd done this before. Rachel and I talked about it a lot after our shifts. She was disturbed too, but she said maybe the mom was mentally ill. Maybe she didn't know what she was doing. I wanted to believe that, I really did. But deep down, I felt something wasn't right. It wasn't until about a month later that things got worse. I was working another closing shift, just me and Kevin this time. It was late. The store was quiet. I was restocking gum near the register when I heard the softest sound from the entrance. The door chime. I looked up, expecting a last-minute customer, but the entrance was empty. I called out, "Hello?" Nothing. I waited for a second. Must have been a glitch. But then I heard it. Those faint little footsteps. Soft, deliberate, padding across the linoleum. They sounded just like Mikey's sneakers. I called out again, more nervous this time. Still no answer. I walked around the front of the store, but no one was there. Kevin swore he didn't see anyone come in either. I convinced myself I was just rattled. Maybe I was hearing things. Maybe the door sensor was acting up. I wanted to believe that. But it happened again, 2 nights later. Same sound, same faint footsteps, same empty entrance. Then, about a week after that, we got another call. I answered out of habit. There was silence at first. Then the same soft voice. "Is Mikey still waiting?" I slammed the phone down. It's been months now. We don't get the calls anymore. But sometimes I still think about him. Why would a mother do that to her child? Why would she drop him off like that, silent, cold, like she'd done it before? Why would she tell him to wait, knowing she might never come back? Or was she scared of him? Was she running from something? Or was it something worse, like she didn't see him as her child anymore? I can't stop thinking about that phone call. The way she asked, "Is Mikey still there?" Like it was a game, like it was some test of patience he'd been through before. And the way he said it so quietly. She always leaves me places. What kind of mother does that? What was she leaving behind? And why did she sound so sure he'd still be waiting? I don't know if I'll ever understand. Maybe that's the part that haunts me the most. I've worked retail for almost 4 years now. You get used to people oversharing. Some customers just love to talk about their kids, their pets, their diets, their personal drama. It's like you're their temporary therapist because you're the only one stuck listening. So when the older woman first started chatting with me, I didn't think much of it. She was in her late 60s, wore this soft pink cardigan, and always had a kind smile. She'd come in once or twice a week, usually around lunchtime when the store was slow. Her name was Marla. The first time we talked, she complimented my hair and asked if I was from around here. Harmless small talk. I told her I'd grown up in the area but kept things pretty vague. She was warm, polite, and seemed genuinely sweet. Each time she came in after that, our conversations got a little longer. She'd ask me about my weekend, what shows I liked, whether I had pets. I kept my answers surface level because, let's be honest, I don't really bond with customers. But she had this way of making you feel like you'd known her forever. One day she asked me, "How's Daisy doing?" I paused. I hadn't mentioned Daisy to her. Daisy's my dog, a golden retriever I've had since high school. I laughed it off, figuring maybe I had told her without realizing. I mean, customers blend together after a while. "She's good," I said, trying not to overthink it. But then the next time Marla came in, she brought up something else. "So, is your boyfriend Civic still giving you trouble?" she asked as she browsed the greeting cards. I felt my stomach drop. I'd never told her about Mark's car. I'm careful about what I say to customers, especially since I've had a few creepy experiences before. Yeah, still having problems, I muttered, pretending to be busy rearranging a shelf. My mind was racing. Maybe she overheard me talking to a coworker? Maybe I posted about it somewhere public? But it didn't stop there. Over the next couple of weeks, she'd casually drop things into conversation that she shouldn't have known, like what high school I went to, that my mom's birthday was coming up, that I used to work at the Starbucks down the street. Each time, I'd just smile, nod, and move on. I didn't know how to call her out without sounding paranoid. Then, one afternoon, as she was checking out, she leaned in just a little too close and said, "You should really change your Instagram bio. It gives away too much, sweetheart." I froze. My bio? I never shared my Instagram with her. My account was private. I didn't say anything. I just handed her the receipt, heart pounding, and watched her walk out like nothing was wrong. The second she left, I pulled out my phone and opened Instagram. Blocked account after blocked account. Random profiles I'd never noticed before, with names like Sunshine Girl 68 and Lover of Dogs, all following me, and all connected by one thing. They all had the same profile picture, a pink cardigan. I sat there behind the register, my stomach twisting as I scrolled through those accounts. Different names, different bios. Some were empty. Some had vague, cheerful captions like, "Just love being a grandma," or "Living life to the fullest." But the profile picture was always the same. Marla, wearing that same soft pink cardigan. Some of the accounts had been following me for over a year. I never noticed. Some had liked old posts from months ago. Pictures of Daisy at the park, selfies from my birthday, shots of Mark's busted car. I felt sick. I pulled up Facebook. Same thing. Random profiles with stock photo names. Debbie Jones, Linda H. All following me. A few had even commented on my posts. I'd written them off as those weird fake accounts that spam random people. But now, I wasn't so sure. I checked my TikTok. She'd been there too, quiet, watching. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. That night I went home and told Mark. He's not the overprotective type, but even he looked rattled. "Are you sure it's her?" he asked. "She told me to change my Instagram bio. She knew things about me I never said. It's her. She's probably just some lonely old woman who got too invested. Block her and move on." I wanted to believe that. I really did. But it didn't sit right. This wasn't someone accidentally knowing too much. This was someone deliberately watching me. I blocked every account I could find. I made my profiles private. I deleted posts that showed where I worked. I even took Daisy's name out of my captions. For a few days it was quiet. No sign of Marla. No weird accounts. Nothing. I almost let myself relax. Then she came back. It was the end of a slow shift when I saw her walk in like nothing had happened. Same cardigan, same soft smile. "Hello, sweetheart," she chirped. "I missed our little chat." My mouth went dry. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to tell her she was creeping me out, but she looked so normal, like she was genuinely happy to see me. I forced a polite smile and kept my answers short. She bought a magazine and some mints. No small talk this time. But as I handed her the receipt, she gently tapped my hand and said, "Such a shame about Daisy's collar, though. Red doesn't suit her. The blue one looks so much better on her walks by the lake. Don't you think?" My blood went cold. I had changed Daisy's collar just days before. I'd only posted a quick story about it. Private account, visible to friends only. And the lake? That's not a public place. That's where I go when I don't want to be found. She turned and walked out without another word, leaving me standing there in shock. When I checked my story views later that night, I saw it. A new profile I didn't recognize. No posts, no followers, just one follower, me. The username? PinkLake68. Seeing that username, PinkLake68, sent a chill through me I couldn't shake. It wasn't just the name, it was the number. 68. Marla always used variations of that number in her fake accounts. Birth year, maybe. Or maybe just something she thought I wouldn't notice. I blocked it immediately, then I sat there, staring at my phone, heart racing, trying to convince myself that maybe it was just a coincidence. But deep down, I knew. Marla wasn't just following me online. She had been watching me in real life too. The lake wasn't near my house. It was one of those tucked away spots where no one really goes unless they know about it. It was my quiet place, my escape, and somehow she had been there. In the next few days, I felt like I was living under a microscope. Every time a car slowed down near my apartment, I tensed up. Every time I saw someone in a pink sweater, I froze. At work, I begged my manager to let me switch shifts. I told him I needed mornings only, no more closing shifts. He didn't ask questions. Maybe he saw the panic in my face, but he let me rearrange my schedule. I thought maybe that would be enough, that if I changed my routines, she'd get bored. But Marla wasn't bored. She was patient. One morning, a package showed up on my doorstep. No return address, just a small, neatly wrapped box with my name written in tight, careful handwriting. Inside was a dog collar. Blue, just like the one Daisy used to wear. There was no note, no explanation, just the collar. I felt like I was going to throw up. I called Mark in full-blown panic. He told me to call the police, and I did, but they were less than helpful. The officer was polite, but shrugged it off like it was probably just an online stalker who sent a weird gift. No direct threats, no proof she trespassed, no laws broken. "She's an old woman," the officer said. "Just block her. Stay off social media for a while. It'll die down." But it wasn't dying down. That same day, when I went to work, she was there waiting for me. Sitting on the bench outside the store, sipping a coffee like she had all the time in the world. When I hesitated to walk past her, she smiled that same sweet grandmotherly smile. "Good morning, sweetheart," she said softly. "I saw you blocked me again. That's all right. We'll catch up another way." She stood, smoothed out her pink cardigan, and walked away, like this was all some innocent misunderstanding. I didn't go into work that day. I sat in my car, locked the doors, and cried until I couldn't breathe. I thought changing my privacy settings would stop her. I thought switching shifts would make her lose interest. But now I realize something. Marla wasn't watching me because I made it easy. She was watching me because she wanted to. Working at a Dollar Tree has its moments. Most of them boring, some genuinely weird. You get to know the regulars, the coupon hoarders, the kids who sneak candy when they think you're not watching. You see it all. But sometimes you see something that sticks with you, something that doesn't let you sleep right anymore. This is one of those things. I was working a night shift, just me and my coworker Jenna. It was a slow Thursday, and we were getting ready to close. We close at 10 p.m. sharp, and by 9:45 the store was completely empty. Jenna was in the back room doing the final cash count while I straightened up the aisles. You'd be surprised how much junk people leave scattered everywhere. Half-empty soda bottles, candy wrappers, random toys tossed on the wrong shelf. I was in the cleaning supplies aisle when I heard the soft ding of the front door. I paused, confused. I could have sworn I'd locked it already. I walked quickly to the front, ready to tell whoever walked in that we were closed. That's when I saw him. A tall man, thin, wearing an oversized dark coat that almost dragged on the floor. His head was slightly down, so the brim of his baseball hat covered most of his face. He was moving slowly, quietly, like he wasn't in any rush. "Sorry, sir, we're actually closed," I called out, trying to sound polite but firm. He didn't respond, just kept walking, heading toward the back of the store. "Sir?" I said, louder this time, walking after him. "We're closed. I can't ring anything up now." He turned the corner and disappeared into the seasonal aisle. Something about him immediately put me on edge. The way he walked. It was off. Too smooth, almost gliding, like his feet weren't lifting properly. I quickened my pace and turned the corner after him. He was gone. I scanned the aisle. Empty. Not a single person. I checked the next aisle. Empty. I moved down toward the back of the store, calling out, "Sir? Hello? We're closed. You can't be in here." Nothing. It didn't make sense. There was no way he could have passed me without me hearing him, and the only exit was the front door, which I could still see from where I stood. I radioed Jenna, "Hey, did you see anyone leave?" "No," she answered. "Why?" I told her what happened and asked her to check the back room, just in case he somehow slipped past me. She said she would. I kept looking, moving quickly now. I checked every aisle, even behind the displays, feeling my pulse pick up. Still nothing. Then I heard it, a faint tapping sound. It was coming from the toy aisle. When I turned the corner, I saw it, a single red ball rolling slowly across the floor toward me, like someone had just pushed it. But the aisle was empty. I picked up the ball, confused, and scanned the shelves. Everything was still. No one around. No sound except for the hum of the fluorescent lights. My radio crackled. "Nothing back here," Jenna said. "I think you're freaking yourself out." I tried to laugh it off, but something felt wrong. I put the ball back on the shelf and decided to head toward the office to help Jenna finish closing. But as I turned to leave, I heard it again, the ding of the front door. I hurried up front, thinking maybe the guy had finally left, but the door was still closed, locked. The chime had gone off by itself. And there, right in front of the register, was something that hadn't been there before, a crumpled yellow receipt sitting on the counter. I picked it up. There was no store name on it, no date, no items listed, just 3 words printed at the bottom. "I'm not done." I stared at the receipt, reading the words over and over. "I'm not done." It made no sense. The paper was still warm, like it had just printed, but I hadn't rung up any sales. The register hadn't even been on the final sales screen. And this wasn't even a real receipt. No timestamp, no items, no price. Just those words. I radioed Jenna again, my voice a little shaky this time. "Hey, you didn't just print anything up here, right?" "No," she answered, sounding annoyed. "I told you, there's no one else here." I wanted to believe her, I really did. But something didn't feel right. My skin was starting to crawl. I couldn't shake the memory of the man's strange walk. The way he drifted down the aisle, like he wasn't fully here. I told Jenna I was going to double-check the cameras before we left. She was fine with that. She just wanted to close and go home. In the office, I scrolled back through the security footage, my eyes glued to the grainy screen. There he was, the tall man in the dark coat. Walking in, I watched carefully, expecting to see him walk out of frame toward the back of the store. But he didn't. He walked in, stood still for a second, and then he was gone. Like he just flickered out. No turning, no walking away, just gone. I replayed it, over and over, same thing. He appeared and then, frame by frame, he simply vanished. I checked the footage of the toy aisle. There was no one there. No one to push the ball. The ball rolled out from the shelf all by itself. I sat there for a second, trying to process it. Part of me wanted to shut the laptop and walk away, but another part of me had to know, where did that receipt come from? I pulled the register log. No recent transactions, no open sale. The last logged receipt was from over an hour earlier. I flipped over the mystery receipt in my hand, and there, scribbled on the back in rushed, shaky handwriting, was a sentence I hadn't noticed before. He always shops last. I felt the cold creep up my spine. I called Jenna on the radio, my voice tight. "Hey, we need to leave, like now." "What's going on?" she asked, picking up on my tone. "I'll explain later, just lock the back door, I'm coming." We shut everything down as fast as we could, but as I was turning off the lights, I swear I heard it again, the soft tap, tap, tap of something bouncing across the floor. I didn't stop to look. We bolted out of there, locking up behind us. Jenna thought I was being paranoid until I showed her the footage in the parking lot. She watched the man walk in and disappear, watched the ball roll by itself. She saw the receipt with her own eyes. She didn't argue after that. Here's the thing, I didn't tell her everything. I didn't tell her about what I found when I went back the next day to talk to my manager. When I told him about the strange receipt, he just sighed, like he'd heard it all before. Then he said, "Yeah, sometimes, right before closing, someone comes in. Doesn't buy anything, leaves no trace. You'll know him when you see him. He's always the last customer." I asked him if he knew who the guy was, but he just looked at me, dead serious, and said, "We don't ask." The manager pulled something out of the drawer and handed it to me. Another crumpled receipt. Same words at the bottom, "I'm not done."